Can you guys believe we are already halfway through 2026? I mean, it honestly feels like the year just started, but in a very short time, we got tons of new free-to-play game releases across every genre imaginable, from massive open-world RPGs and competitive sports titles to racing games, shooter games, and some highly anticipated PC releases. So far, 2026 shaping up to be a pretty solid year for free-to-play game releases. Now, if you have been following the channel for a while, some of these games might look familiar because I already covered many of them in my monthly free game roundup videos. This video is a kind of a summarize to show you guys 15 of the best, most popular, brand new free-to-play games that came out so far in 2026. So sit back, relax, grab a snack, let's talk all about them. Alright, starting off the list, we have Myth of Empires Tron. This is a brand new free-to-play multiplayer sandbox warfare style of a game that launched about a month ago. So if you ever wanted a mix of survival, base building, large-scale battles, and kingdom management, this one honestly has a lot to offer. You begin with almost nothing and then gradually gather resources, craft equipments, tame animals, build massive settlements, and join guilds to fight for territory across huge open maps. And of course, one of the biggest highlights is the seasonal progression system, where the entire server compete for dominance before a next season begin, which is pretty cool. Honestly, it feels like a bit of a mix of Rust, Ark, and some medieval warfare wrapped into one free-to-play package. Right now, it is free on Steam, so definitely worth jumping into, especially if you enjoy this style of large-scale sandbox-style gameplay. Moving on to a brand new free-to-play sports game that literally came out a few days ago, and it is called Goals. So if you're a football fan looking for something different than usual EAFC or eFootball, this gotta be one of the most interesting free-to-play game releases of the year. It's a competitive multiplayer football game, focuses heavily on skill-based gameplay, responsive controls, and of course online competition. The developer says that they're aiming for esport-friendly experience where players' skill matter more than random animations or pay-to-win mechanics. But some of the early reviews of the game right now say something else. Right now it's sitting on mixed reviews, and also the game doesn't have any AAA looking graphics or animation compared to its competitors. But keeping that aside, the game is still very new to the Steam, it's still growing. It got pretty fast, fluid, highly competitive gameplay, making it a great free-to-play option, especially if you're looking for something a bit more arcadey and less stressful compared to something like EAFC. Alright, taking the number 13 spot, we got Arknight Enfield, and this is one of the most anticipated free-to-play RPGs of 2026. And the game, of course, set in this Arknight universe, and this new entry, Enfield, takes this franchise in a completely new direction with large-scale 3D exploration, real-time action combat, squad-based gameplay, and surprisingly deep base building mechanics. It looks pretty cool, pretty flashy, and you gotta explore this planet Talos 2, recruit powerful operators, battle dangerous enemies, and gradually expand their industrial infrastructure across the world. The combat looks really fast, flashy, and satisfying, but there is a strong focus on strategy, resource management, and team composition. The game globally launched earlier this year for PC, PlayStation 5, and also on mobile. So if you're a fan of games like Wuthering Waves, Honkai Star Rail, or open world action RPGs in general, it's a pretty cool free game to jump in right now. And if you decide to play the game on PC, remember, right now it's only available through Epic Games Store. Alright, moving on from one action RPG to another that came out in 2026, and we got Punishing Grey Raven. It's a free-to-play anime-style action RPG that combines stylish hack-and-slash combat with surprisingly engaging sci-fi story and some of the smoothest action gameplay you will ever find on a free-to-play title. Every character feels unique, combos are satisfying to pull off, and the boss fights often require actual skill rather than smashing buttons or simply having better gear. Visually, the game looks very impressive with excellent soundtrack and decent optimization, especially on PC. It's a completely single-player story-focused experience, which is very rare to find on a free-to-play market these days. All in all, if you're into action games or anime-inspired RPGs, this is an easy recommendation in 2026. And after spending years in development, full year on early access on consoles, UFL is finally here on PC, so I'm gonna briefly mention. Alright, it's a free-to-play football simulation style of a game, similar to games like EAFC, eFootball, but offers a completely free-to-play alternative focused on online competition, team building, and fair progression. The game features licensed players and teams, realistic visuals, top-notch animations, and a progression system designed to avoid the frustration many players have with other football titles. The game does have a bunch of single-player modes plus an online competitive rank play, but still has a lot of room to grow. But for a completely free-to-play competitive football title, the amount of content available right now is genuinely impressive. And if you decide to play this one on PC, right now it's only available on their official website. The Steam version is coming up very soon. Battle Royale fans have received a huge surprise this year with the introduction of Black Ops Royale inside Call of Duty Warzone. Obviously, this is not a brand new separate game, it's a different game mode inside Call of Duty Warzone, and this new experience stripped down many modern Warzone mechanics and bring back that classic mode loot-focused Battle Royale formula, which I'm a big fan of. The loadouts, buy stations are completely gone, and you must scavenge for weapons, upgrade directly on the map, and the result is much more faster, much more unpredictable Battle Royale experience that many long-time Call of Duty fans have been asking for. And it's also much more fair for new free-to-play beginner players because you don't have to grind for weapons, unlock attachments, or make your custom loadouts. Everything is loot-based, and if you've been missing that old Blackout days, this is probably the closest thing we have gotten in years. It's free to play on all platforms, so download and try it out yourself. Alright, moving on to one of the most underrated free-to-play racing game that came out pretty recently, and that is Race Max Pro. It's a very fast-paced arcade-style racing game, something very similar to Asphalt Legends, featuring licensed cars, multiple racing modes including drag, drift, and street racing, extensive customization options, a solid graphics on PC, plus it's well optimized for low-end systems as well. Obviously, this is not going to replace Forza Horizon or any Need for Speed games, but if you want to jump into a solid single-player and a multiplayer racing experience without spending any money, is a good option on the market. Baseball games don't often get much attention outside some major franchises, but eBaseball Pro Spirit came as a real surprise in 2026, and it absolutely deserves some recognition. Developed by Konami, this free-to-play sports game delivers impressive visuals, authentic play animations, real players and rosters, and a solid amount of content for baseball fans. I did play the game a little bit at launch. Even though I never played baseball before, it is pretty approachable even for the beginners, while still offering enough depth and content for more dedicated players. It does offer both single player, career mode, and online ranked play. So if you're looking for a modern baseball experience without spending any money, this is easily one of the best options on the market right now. Moving on to another brand new free game that came out right at the end of last month, and that is World of Tank Heat. This is a fresh spin-off to the long-running tank combat formula, bringing much more arcadier, much more accessible experience, especially for the beginners. And obviously, World of Tank is a very popular game and very well established, especially on PC, but this one is more of an arcadier style of a game that focuses toward the casual players, and that's why this game is already very popular on the mobile side. The game features a wide variety of tank, progression system, and a large-scale multiplayer battles where positioning and teamwork remain still extremely important. If you want a more realistic competitive experience, obviously World of Tank is still here, very popular on the PC side, but if you're looking for more of a casual, beginner-friendly style of experience, this game is highly recommended. If you're into more of a story-driven, narrative style of games, we got a brand new game that came out last month, and that is 93 Quincy. The game doesn't focus on action or mechanics, instead of it's all about atmosphere, memory, fear, guilt, and internal conflict, and it's trying to sell a story in cinematic, almost like a documentary style, which I really like. It got a beautiful art style, a memorable environment, and the overall presentation creates a sense of mystery that is difficult to find in most free-to-play story-based games. It is totally free to download on Steam, and also right now sitting on overwhelmingly positive reviews. Moving on at number 5, we got the 7 Deadly Sins Origin. It's one of the popular games that came out in 2026, and anime fans have been waiting for this one for a very long time. And this game takes that popular anime universe and transforms into a massive open world RPG experience. You can freely explore this large environment, complete quests, engage in fast-paced combat, collect characters, and of course uncover the original story within the franchise. Visually, the game looks stunning, and the world itself looks far more ambitious than most anime-based games these days. It's totally free to play and available pretty much on all major platforms. Neverness to Everness is another very popular game that we already talked a bit about in our channel before. It's another highly ambitious anime-style open-world game that immediately grabbed attention thanks to its gorgeous visuals and urban fantasy setting. But unlike many fantasy-focused RPGs, this one takes place on this modern city filled with supernatural events, strange creatures, and plenty of mystery to uncover. You got a massive GTA-style open world to explore. You can drive around, buy properties, doing side quests, there are collectibles, minigames, there are so much stuff to do. Plus a very interesting single player quest line as well. Right now it's pretty popular, but at the moment you can only download the game from their official website with a direct launcher. The Steam version is actually coming up very soon, next month. Alright, moving on to top 3 games, we got Tom Clancy's The Division Resurgence. And this new game, Division Resurgence, finally brought Ubisoft looter shooter formula to a much more wide audience this year with this surprising free-to-play launch, and it is pretty close to its mainline Division games. The game set in this post-pandemic New York City where you can explore detailed urban environment, complete missions, collect powerful gear, and take on both AI enemies and of course other players on PvP. And obviously you guys can see the gameplay. It is based on the mobile version of the game ported onto PC, but it's fully compatible with mouse and keyboard and also with controllers. Game got a solid progression system. The gunplay feels okay for the most part. Visually the game looks pretty good, especially if you crank up the settings to the max. All in all, if you are a fan of looter shooter style of games, the Division games in general, this is easily one of the strongest free-to-play releases of 2026 and also pretty well optimized if you have a low-end PC or a laptop. At number 2, we got Game of Thrones King's Road. Initially, this one released as an early access title but wasn't available in most regions. But this full version recently came out on Steam. We finally got the chance to get our hands on with the game. The game set in this iconic world of Westeros where you can create your own character, choose your certain playstyle, and embark on this adventure that take you across some familiar locations from the TV show and also encountering some legendary characters like Jon Snow from the series. The game heavy focus on strong combat mechanics is really satisfying to pull off. Plus, of course, you got main story, the side quests, exploration, and some impressive visuals to create an experience that feels much more larger than people expect from a typical free-to-play game. All in all, man, if you're a fan of the Game of Thrones universe and looking to jump into this new open world adventure, it is totally free to check out right now on Steam. Alright, taking the number 1 spot is a surprise entry that finally became free to play in 2026, and that is none other than Fortnite Save the World. It is completely different from your typical battle royale experience that we all known for. This was always that underrated game mode kinda hidden inside Fortnite, but Save the World has always had that dedicated fan base thanks to its cooperative gameplay, hero-based classes, base building mechanics, and a full single player campaign that you can play either solo or you can jump in with your friends on co-op. You can easily team up with your friends to defend objectives, gather resources, unlock new heroes, craft weapons, and fight back against these hordes of monsters. And after years of being locked behind a purchase, millions of players finally got the chance to jump into this side of Fortnite for free, which is really awesome. So if you haven't jumped in yet, download and try it out. It is completely free on Epic Games Store. Well, there you have it, guys. These are some of the coolest, brand new, most popular free-to-play games that came out so far in 2026. And if you're a PC gamer on a budget in 2026, you really don't need to spend money to find amazing games. And if this video helped you to find some good ones, drop your favorites down in the comment section. As always, guys, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and stay tuned for more free-to-play game coverage like this. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one.